What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, and that's the one, the only. It is Scott Savage. Scott, what's going on, buddy?
I'm trying to set aside some time for Atomic Heart.
I've seen mixed
I have
reactions
to
on that
know.
one. Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Oh, I
That's
have a
very
lot of opinions on things, so I really want to get my hands on it.
fair. I've never noticed. Welcome to this show, the new time. Every day, Monday to Friday at noon. You can join us live right now over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg, as well as YouTube at youtube.com/theofficialitg. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, it's a big show today. The Tarnished returns with DLC for Elden Ring. Beyond Good and Evil 2 sees more changes, and it's not good at all. And IO Interactive have a new game in development, and I'm excited. It's not a Hitman game either. So, Scott, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot on the go, so let's get
nary
going.
a gun in sight, actually, I doubt.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Elden Ring DLC lands between officially announced. Taking over on Twitter, Elden Ring official Twitter post reads this: Rise, Tarnished, and let us walk a new path together. An upcoming expansion for Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, is currently in development. We hope you look forward to new adventures in the lands between. Scott, what are your thoughts?
Oh, well, we've talked about it a couple times very recently, even. Is there DLC? Was there supposed to be DLC? Well, it appears that whether planned or not, there is now DLC. And that seemed like a no-brainer for me, because I thought, it's probably the largest commercial success from last year, at least in memory.
Sure.
So there has to be some sort of a follow-up, right? But we are getting a lot of a follow-up, it seems. There's a little bit of a write-up here done by Luke and Patricia at Kotaku, and they go to state, From Software has just announced a major expansion for most people's 2022 Game of the Year, Elden Ring. It is in development, and it's called Shadow of the Erdtree. But never mind that. See that person at the bottom of the new key art? If you've played FromSoft's open RPG, then you will likely have a good guess as to who we're looking at here. This might be Michaela. We've had some debate as to how to pronounce these names.
Very much so. Always a debate on the show.
That's right. Who is Michaela and Michaela? Listen to me now. It's going to change every time.
Yep.
And why are they likely to be in the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree? Michaela is all over the world of Elden Ring, but you've never actually see them in person. We know that Michaela is Millennia's twin, who has been cursed to be forever young. Oh, what a curse. Poor Michaela loved his sister dearly and wanted to cure her of the rot via Erdtree, a location that you visit late in Elden Ring. The Erdtree is supposed to be a haven for basically anybody who might be rejected by society, meaning anyone who has been spurred from the embrace of the Erdtree that you burn at the end of the game. There's some spoilers for you.
Apparently.
Yeah. I mean, I had a good guess, but
Yeah.
I'm looking for more details here because it does get into a lot of the different story elements.
Sure.
Michaela, of course, is because he is stolen away by Mog, another demigod. So there's a huge amount to the lore behind this. And now I'm reminding myself that there wasn't much story, I think you said, was your comments on Elden Ring.
Very true. It's very true. I still stand behind it. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of story there presented in the way I normally see stories presented.
That's fair.
I think that was my biggest struggle, right? So for me, I had a harder time getting into it. Dude, I get it, right? I appreciate what Elden Ring is. I struggled to play Elden Ring. It wasn't for me. It wasn't connecting as much as I wanted to be a part of that world and get into this universe. And when you hear everybody play it, and I think maybe the way I might want to get back into it, because now that this is out, I'm kind of contemplating maybe coming back and give it another shot, is to play it co-op, right? I think that's the way to maybe help me get through this. Because I know Nate and his brothers all played co-op. Like, Nate's played the game like 3 times, 4 times or something, right? Like, it's just one of those things. Will we be able to get in there co-op? Scott, is it one and one other person, or can you go in a group? Do you know?
I'm pretty certain you can summon 2 people with you.
No, nice. Okay, cool. So maybe that's an option. Maybe that's the way I take the approach to get back into Elden Ring and try my best to see if I can get into this world and in this universe because it is cool, dude. It looks cool. When I was in there, I enjoyed what I saw. I just didn't like the punishment to go along with it. I often don't like to play a lot of roguelike games, and they're often a struggle for me, right? So it's one of those things. How do I get into this world? How do I get into this universe? Because it is people's 2022 game of the year, right? For me, it was God of
Yeah.
War, which is I think fair in itself to say that that's okay as well. Like it's not a
Oh
bad game
yeah.
by any means. It was just more my play style where I'm more of a God of War person than say Elden Ring. But again, maybe this could be the way in. I don't know. Maybe this is how I get my feet wet with Elden Ring and have somebody help me get through the game, right? Co-op
This will
is
bring
always a
back
good
a
way.
lot of this will bring back a lot of the veterans. I think we'll see the Quins
Yeah.
online.
No, well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Quinn brothers are always around playing
The
together.
quintet.
Quinn. So I don't know, Scott. What are your thoughts on new DLC coming around? Any idea what it will be at all?
No, I've seen it mentioned that a new map, a new area will come
Really?
alongside with this. It will at least develop some of the land a little bit more. Whether it adds another, square kilometer is unknown to me, but it'll change a little bit of the map. I'm sure they'll add a lot of weapons and kind of new armor sets to go along with this. So it's a perfect refresh. I didn't let it get stale the first time. So this is really just more icing on top for me. But it's time for me to return. I feel the call.
Well, maybe we can get into it. I know Kyle wanted to check it out too, so we'll see if Kyle. I need the thing
Let's
is.
see if Kyle wants to carry you and
Oh, that's
I.
fair. I'm down for that, dude. I know I need carried in this game. It's one of those. I need a fast, agile character, and I think the first time around I picked somebody a little bit slower. When you wave around that heavy sword, dude, it's like molasses,
Oh,
right?
it's commitment. Yeah.
It is. It is. Once you're in there, there is no kind of canceling that out and backing out. So I don't know. I'd love to explore the game a lot more than what I obviously did. But I did have, I had a fun time, but a frustrating time at the same time. But I was solo, so hopefully now maybe going in co-op be a bit of a different experience. Very cool to see. It is, I think, going to pull in a lot of people again. It sold 20 million copies. Scott, we just covered there not too long ago.
Yeah.
So that's not, not a big surprise when they go like, "Hey, DLC's on the way." We're like, "No kidding." So
Well, even if 1% of the people who own that game buy it, it's going to turn a huge profit. Why not?
no, for sure. I think it makes a ton of sense. I think a lot of people were very excited to see that news drop today. It's very welcomed, I'm sure, right? So from software, when do you think we're going to get it? I think is the other question, Scott.
Yeah, I don't think it's been discussed. I haven't
No,
seen if there's been any official talk on it, but I would say by the end of this year, I would expect maybe holiday season this year
you think so, right? Because
because
that's
it is
been
still in development, I believe.
that's right. Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me, right? It's been in it's now in development. So if is now in development and we're getting into a whole new area, how long has it been in development? I think it would be the bigger question. If we can find that
Yeah,
bit of info out, then maybe then we'll have a better idea and guideline of how long we're out from this. Do we? I don't think we get it this year. I think we get it early next year. I think we get it early 2024. So
well, that's certainly possible. That would be about the 2-year mark.
right. Well, which makes a lot of sense, right? Sometimes you get a bit of a break on these games and coming back around. I'm looking at you, Last of Us multiplayer.
Oh, Last was multiplayer. Yeah, I was waiting on that one for a couple years now.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Side tangent. The Last of Us multiplayer, dude. I think the Last of Us HBO show is gonna wrap up, and then we're gonna get drops of the multiplayer. I think that's what they're lining up for. They keep that Last of Us conversation going. So
That makes sense.
we just watched the episode yesterday, dude. What a wicked episode! It was based on the
Is
Left
that
Behind
8 now?
DLC. 7. So we've 8 and 9. We only have 2 episodes left, and I know exactly where they're going. So certain things were happening yesterday, and Crystal watched me play the DLC with the remake. So
Oh.
she's like, "Oh, I know. When's what was this? Oh, ooh, like it's just, dude, it's so good. What a phenomenal job they're doing on The Last of Us. Absolutely adore that game and that show. So it's fantastic. What I'd like to adore, Scott, and we just don't know if we ever will, is Beyond Good and Evil 2
Yeah.
Studios sees major changes again.
Oh.
Oh, what is going on, Ubisoft? This is Mike Straw over at Insider Gaming. The status of Beyond Good and Evil 2 continues to be in flux. No way. And the latest news doesn't look good for the long in development title. According to a new report from Kotaku, Ubisoft's multiplayer, the studio behind Beyond Good and Evil 2, managing director is no longer with the company as a labor investigation takes place.
Ooh, that's an interesting set of circumstances there.
The report claims the local authorities are investigating the studio, quote, over an unprecedented number of developers experienced burnout and going on sick leave, end quote. What? So the Gilmoon has been absent for some time, but it was told to staff last week that he would not be returning to the company. In a statement given to Kotaku, Ubisoft says the health and well-being of its employees are at the top of the company's priority list. The health and wellness of our teams are an ongoing priority, the outlet was told. Given the length of development cycle with Beyond Good and Evil 2, the multiplayer studio team is undergoing well-being assessments through a third party. Wow. For preventative measures and to evaluate where additional support may be needed. Scott, this dude, I don't understand. I really don't understand. Like, I know video games are tough. They're exhausting to make, right? Dude, if you work now, granted, there is no typical 9-to-5 job anymore, right? Like, let's be honest. Like, if you have a 9-to-5 job, it's probably pretty rare that you're able to find that job, right? But if you're in game development, I've seen some studios go out and they form their own and say, hey, we're 9-to-5. And then when 5 o'clock hits, we're out.
Yeah.
That's to prevent all of this crap going on, right? You don't need burnout. You don't need to be working hours on end. Dude, this game has been in development for who knows how long now at this point, right?
Yeah, I wanted to say 8 or 9 years, but...
Yep, right? Recently, Insider Gaming reported that Beyond Good and Evil 2 remained in early development. This is in spite of the fact that the game was announced officially back in 2016. The game recently surpassed Duke Nukem Forever as the game with the longest known development time. Based on images and gameplay provided to Insider Gaming at the time of the last report, suggested that the game likely went under another reboot since the last time it was shown to gamers. Insider Gaming did attempt to reach out. Dude. 2016 revamped the game again. Are you shocked at all, like I am, that the fact that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still in development and not one of the games that's been canceled over at Ubisoft?
I can't believe it has not been canceled. That's a surprise to me because of all these other projects that are getting closed and things that aren't maybe not going to turn profit, although I believe this would. Maybe that's why it's still in development, but all these other things shutting off around and moving all the company around. All right, we got to focus on this, more Assassin's Creed. I would have thought this would have been one of the things that would have been dropped or these issues would have been brought to light earlier. And this is, so hearing about this at Ubisoft Montpellier, not sure how to pronounce, but they're, I haven't heard anything specifically about this studio, this production house having issue, or some of the other things that we saw maybe a year ago when that news was kind of breaking all around everywhere. But it's incredibly unfortunate to me that we still have this conversation, and it seems like they're really just calling in the exterminator on this one.
They're lost, dude. It seems like the studio is just lost at this point, right? The management isn't able to kind of bunker down and take care of things, take care of their employees. It really comes back on Yves Guillemot to figure this out and sort it out sooner than later. Maybe all 27 studios or whatever they're at now is just one too many. You know what I mean? Like, they're just, it's one thing to be a big company, but it's another to make sure they're managed properly. And it doesn't seem like that's the case. If you're getting on burnout and then well-being is becoming an issue, you're making a video game, right? Like, you're supposed to be going to work and enjoying your time and creating something cool, creating something that the fans can love and adore and want to cherish and play for years. That's the goal, as far as I know, right? But making games is hard. It's tough. This isn't easy. This is the tough industry to be a part of. And the more we dive in, the more it becomes more and more aware and more concerning for the well-being of anybody looking to get into video games. So I don't know, when you look at a big studio like Ubisoft, you kind of expect them to be the showrunner, right? To be at the top, to say, hey, this is how you should do it. This is how you manage your team and make sure that everybody's taken care of well. hopefully things get sorted out there, because we've been asking for this game for so long and been wanting it too, right? For the early stages of what we've seen. But now they say,
Yeah.
like, Insider Gaming is stating that what they have seen has been redone again. It's like, this is not cool, man. This is really, really concerning. So I don't know. But one studio, Scott, that keeps on crushing it is one studio I adore, IO Interactive. A new adventure begins at IO Interactive. Join the party and help us realize our vision for a bold new online fantasy RPG. Scott, we're in a whole new world. It has now been a decade since...
I was going to say, Agent 47. This is a new land.
World of assassination. Where's Jane? We need Jane back on the show. It has now been a decade since we first imagined creating a new quote world of assassination end quote for our Hitman games. 7 years ago, we launched the world in its infancy and nurtured it to grow to comprise 3 full games, exciting new game modes, many additional locations, and extra targets. And more importantly, it allowed us to build a bond with our community that has supported us ever since. We have gone from a strong vision through a lot of unforeseen events to ever expanding world with freedom and approach it to the core that we have today. Dude, if those who don't recall, IO was actually attached to Square Enix. Went off on their own, left Square, and was able to keep the IP of Hitman. Hitman 3 comes out. It's their most successful IP to date. Square loses again. Dude, it blows my mind.
Yeah, Square's had a lot of losses lately.
Oh, man. Now we are sharing with all of you that we are embarking on a new adventure, one that expands our creativity, our capabilities, and in some sense, our identity. We are building a new world, a new IP, an online fantasy RPG, a world and a game built from the core to entertain players and expand for many years to come. It feels familiar, yet at the same time, IO Interactive is going on a journey unlike any we have been on before. Scott, dude, I'm excited. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, well, a little bit of a risk stepping outside of their normal boundaries. It's
Absolutely.
not just another Hitman game.
It's not a Hitman.
I'm curious, is this going to be a Hitman with a different skin on top of it, though? Is there an element of IO that's just going to be immutable? For good reason,
sure,
in my opinion, but I'm curious, how far are they going to break away from this?
Okay, so just by taking a look at the artwork, right? So we've been provided very, very little on anything. Basically, their statement in that last little paragraph is kind of what we have to go off of. And then from there, taking a look at the artwork, right? Looking for more. Yo, I'm looking for more. At the end of that, though, it also said, hey, if you're looking to be a part of this, hit us up kind of thing, right? We're looking to grow our team and be growing in this way. So right now, they just wrapped up Freelancer for Hitman. We know they're working on a James Bond game. And now they're getting into an online fantasy RPG. Do you think we're getting in the realm of Destiny, or is this a whole new, or more like Skyrim scenario, or like in that kind of realm?
I'm hoping it's very technologically low, a little bit less projectile kind of thing. Because now I'm thinking about it more, and I hope it splits from Hitman as far as it can. We take out projectile weapons and things like that, and maybe we'll get something that's entirely new.
Magic based, bow and arrows.
That could be done well.
In fantasy, absolutely.
Now I'm thinking of Corvo Atano.
Oh man.
That's essentially just what I want to play again.
Yeah, don't we always? Yeah. Rest in peace, the Dishonored. We'll see if we ever get another Dishonored, dude. I hope so. I really do love that franchise. So
I think we'll be Emily Caldwell in the next one, and that's okay with me.
We're Emily in the second one. So at least that's how I went. You had the option. You can go one or the other, I thought, right?
I went Corvo, but I didn't finish the game though, so there's still room for me yet. I could go play.
You could go play. But Hitman has been their IO's staple, right? And they've gone, dude, I've been there since day one, and I've followed them all along. Get in the most recent ones. I'm now absolutely hooked on a roguelike that I never play. Like, that's just not my genre. Here we are. Hitman introduces their roguelike experience, and I'm in. Yo, I fail, I'm right back starting again. Like, there is no, I'm out of here. I'm right back, and I'm growing my tiers. Dude, I'm on tier 3 right now, and then there's a 4th one. I've got so many targets lined up. It's amazing. It's tough, though, right now. I got one guy just kind of wandering out in the middle of everybody. I'm like, huh.
Oh yeah, yeah. You mentioned that. I said rubber ducky.
Yes, yes,
You're the
right.
one.
Rubber ducky, dude, it's so cool. Absolutely love it. Yeah, we do have a couple things coming out today and such. I want to get to one last thing talking about Square Enix, Scott.
Okay.
It's ironic. It is a little ironic. Luminous Productions, the development studio behind Forspoken, is set to be fully merged into Square Enix. Huh. Isn't that ironic? They just got rid of a bunch of companies, and here they're picking up another one. Chris Scullion over at VGC. In a press release issued yesterday, Square Enix Holdings, which oversees all the company's businesses, including gaming, publishing, Magna, film, merchandise, etc., announced that Luminous would be merging with into Square Enix. Square Enix Holdings Company announces that it will merge its wholly owned subsidiary Luminous Productions Company into the wholly owned subsidiary Square Enix. So they're just making the company one. So
Holy.
holy. I'm just reading what's there. So, but there is that. So it's nice that they're not getting rid of everything. I'm hoping we get a Forspoken too. Dude, I enjoyed Forspoken. I know got mixed reactions with a lot of people, but I had a good time. And I'm hoping that we see
another
a sequel.
one? I think I'm drawn to games with mixed reaction. I think that's it.
You know what it
Everybody's
is?
got a strong opinion, and I have many.
That's I like the diversity when it comes to the conversation then, right? Because you don't like it, I like it, or I don't like it and you like it. Okay, let's have a conversation. What did you like that I didn't? And what did I like that you
Yeah.
didn't, right? And have that back and forth. Don't be a jerk, obviously. Just let's have a conversation. I think it goes a long way. It's cool to see different perspectives from different people. And that's kind of what makes up our industry. And everything is kind of just at your
Also
own.
makes up our team even.
Yeah, very, very much so, right? There's certain games that Corey plays that I'm like, I am not playing that game. Right?
Well, several years ago, you needed a lifer, and that's where I came in.
I need a horror guy. I'm like, I'm out. Somebody help me out here. So
That's right. I got you covered.
that's absolutely right. Scott, we do have a couple things out today, my friend. What do we have?
We have Destiny Lightfall has released now. It is available everywhere where Destiny 2 is. We have Dungeons of Aether is on PC. Scars Above has released today on PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, and PC. And we have just published a video on that as well. If you're curious,
Yep.
I did the review, so I shall not say more. Street Fighter Duel is now out on iOS and Android operating.
And there's also some stuff on Battlefield. Scott, why don't you inform us of that one as well?
That's right. That is where I'm heading immediately after this. Battlefield 2042's Season 4 has arrived today now. I'm not exactly certain what it all includes, but there's a lot of changes to the map, a lot of vehicle changes, some tweaks here and there, new weapons being added, and that sort of thing.
So is this gonna okay, here's what I've done. I deleted Call of Duty from my console and I installed Battlefield, believe it or not.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's something I'm DMZ wasn't it was good, but I wasn't quite feeling it. I wanted to try some more Battlefield. Dude, I want to play Hazard Zone. I know that's the DMZ in Call of Duty, but I think Hazard Zone just kind of clicked a little bit more for me. So I wouldn't mind getting back into Battlefield. So
I'm curious. I want to play just the normal Battlefield though. I'm in.
you like the big open thing, right? Where you're just off the picking and then you're flying the choppers and then you're flying and driving this. That,
I'm the gunship pilot. That's me.
Yeah. What are your hopes for this season then, right? Do you think season 4 is going to pull people back in?
I think it will. I think this is the real update where we'll see that return because it's been kind of set up in the last few updates. The changes have been made. There is a scoreboard and that kind of thing. So I think now it's finally where it should have been.
It's ironic. Yeah, it's great to see though that DICE has stayed behind it and said, "Hey, we are fixing this. We're just going to keep working at it and chipping away till we can get to the standard that the fans really wanted at," right? Because when it launched, dude, it was rough. It was really not in a good state at all. But then over the years, because of the way everything works now in video games, update. And now we're getting things fixed and just turned around so that you can love a game that doesn't start off very well. All of a sudden now you give it a month, sometimes even a year or longer, just Cyberpunk, right? And then all of a sudden now everything works. Like 2 years later, we got Cyberpunk the way it should have launched and people love it. So it's just kind of one of those things. I don't know. It's cool to see. But Scott, just like that, my friend, that's going to wrap up ITG Daily. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. We always keep you up to date with all the hottest and latest and greatest news. You can always join us live at noon Eastern over on YouTube and Twitch at the official ITG. Otherwise, catch us later inside the game.ca, podcast services, TV streaming networks around the globe. Till tomorrow, everybody, I'm Drew, that's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.